In the month of April 2020, there was a lot of talk of cleaning the environment. The environment is breathing again and the environment is rejuvenating. There were talks of wild animals coming back and roaming the roads of cities. So, how was the environment breathing? And when had it stopped breathing? When our elders talk of environment, they always say that it was better, cleaner in their times. Now the environment is bad, especially in cities. Then we hear of environmental organizations, the UNEP, the IUCN, and the WNO. And then there are the NGOs such as Greenpeace and Earthwatch. In India, we have CPCB and CSE. We celebrate World Environment Day on June 5 every year. So, what is the need of these? Why so many organizations, so many people working to protect something which appears to be working fine? What has happened to our environment? Let's start with these basic questions. Anything and everything that surrounds us is our environment. The trees, animals, other people, the insects, the water, rain and mountains, your copy or the mobile, the vehicles, the house and all its furniture. Everything is a part of our environment. Even the microbes that live in and around us. Now, this is a diverse and ever-changing group of things. So how do we study these? We categorize them into groups. On the basis of the basic nature of these things, we group them into biological, physical, and chemical environment. Biological environment is made of all living things around you, as shown here on the right side. The non-living things are grouped into physical and chemical environment. Now just see this scene. Imagine one of the children standing outside the bus is you. Now can you identify what all is there in your environment? And a very important question now. Do you think that the things in your environment have some effect on you? Do the changes in your environment affect you in some way? And do you in some way affect your environment? In the same picture, can you identify what all we as humans have changed? We create buildings, we create industries, roads and parks, we cut trees and we sow seeds. In return, our environment too affects us. Can you make a list of some effects of changes in environment on us? As you think about the effect of environment on us and the effect we have on our environment, you'll realize that this is an ongoing process. There is continuous give and take between us and our environment, and it is true for all organisms. So every living organism interacts with its environment and vice versa. So a system is created between organisms living in an area and their environment. In this system, there is continuous and mutual exchange. All these interacting entities together form an ecosystem. So an ecosystem is made of three components: the biological community, its physical and chemical environment, and the continuous interaction between these two. So the ecosystem comprises of the biotic components or the living organisms and the abiotic components or the non-living things. Now the biotic components are further divided into producers, consumers and decomposers. The consumers are further grouped into herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. I'm sure you know what these terms mean. If you have any doubts, pick up the science book of either class 5, 6 or 7. You'll be able to recall these terms. Now we come to the abiotic components. The abiotic components include temperature, rainfall, wind and air currents, sunlight, soil, land, and other climatic conditions. Now here you have two visuals. Can you find one very important difference between these two? One is an aquarium, which is a man-made ecosystem, and the other is ocean, which is a natural ecosystem. So we classify ecosystem into man-made and natural. We can also classify ecosystem as terrestrial, that is land-based, aquatic, that is water-based, and aerial. Aquatic can be freshwater, marine, etc. Terrestrial can be grassland, forest, or desert ecosystem. Now, can you tell me the name of any man-made terrestrial ecosystem? Pause the video and drop a comment. Besides having the obvious difference of who makes them, there is one more very important difference between these two systems. This is a man-made system, a cropland. Now, if you leave a crop, once you've sown the seeds and irrigated it, can the plants in it continue to survive generation after generation? Can it manage water, nutrients, etc. for itself? If you have a garden at your home or even a plant that you keep, you would know that a garden or a cropland or any man-made system cannot survive on its own. It has to be maintained by humans. But a natural ecosystem is self-sufficient and self-regulating. It can survive without human interference. Can you identify why a natural ecosystem is self-sufficient and why artificials have to be maintained? What will happen if you leave the aquarium or the garden? It will look something like this. The water becomes dirty, some plants and fishes die, but you didn't clean them, so they accumulate. Why do you think it does not accumulate in a pond or an ocean? Think over it and let me know in comments. Now, this is how a neglected garden looks. Can you see the wild weeds growing? When you maintain it, you constantly keep removing them. So how does an ecosystem work? These are some of the functional aspects of an ecosystem that we'll be doing in the next few sessions. These are your questions for practice. Solve them. If any problem, do let me know.